Dr. Yuna wiped sweat from her forehead as she knelt beside the cracked stone tablet. The twin sons of Kepler, 442b, beat down on the archaeological site, making her environmental suit feel like an oven. She had been working on this dead world for 2 months now, and so far, her team had found nothing but ordinary ruins from another extinct civilization. Another religious tablet called out Dr. Jinwoo from across the dig site. He was brushing dirt from what looked like a prayer stone. These aliens really loved their scary bedtime stories. Yuna activated her translation scanner and pressed it against the ancient writing. The device hummed softly as it worked to decode the strange symbols carved into the rock thousands of years ago. Slowly, words began appearing on her holographic display. "From the world of crushing death we fled," she read aloud. "Terror the Destroyer calls, where bones break like twigs and air burns the lungs of the purer." Terror again? Jinwoo looked up from his own tablet. That makes 16 mentions of this terror place. These dead aliens were really obsessed with some imaginary death world. Dr. Miho emerged from the main excavation pit, carrying another carved stone. His boots crunched on the dry, lifeless soil. "I found another one. This time it says Terra is where monsters walk, and the very ground tries to kill you." Pretty dramatic stuff. The 3 scientists have been part of the Galactic Council's archaeological survey for 5 years. They traveled from dead world to dead world, documenting the ruins of civilizations that had vanished long before most current species had even learned to make fire. It was routine work, usually boring, always dusty. "What do you think Terra was supposed to be?" asked Jinwoo, taking a drink from his water tube. "Some kind of hell dimension in their mythology?" Yuna shrugged as she carefully packed the tablet into a protective case. Probably just their version of an underworld story. Every primitive culture has legends about places where bad people go when they die. Terra seems to be theirs. The truth was, Yuna had seen variations of the Terra myth on dozens of different worlds. Always the same basic story. A world so dangerous that just visiting it meant death. A place where the gravity could crush bones. Where the air itself was poison. Where creatures roamed that could tear apart spaceships. It was clearly just ancient superstition, the kind of story that primitive civilizations told to scare their children. Meanwhile, halfway across the galaxy on the 3rd planet of the Sol system, Ambassador Do-Hyun was having a much more pleasant day. He sat in the comfortable conference room of Galactic Station Alpha, sharing lunch with delegates from 3 different star systems. The artificial gravity was set to Earth standard, and the recycled air smelled faintly of pine trees from the station's botanical garden. "The trade agreement looks excellent," said the Altarian ambassador, her blue skin shimmering under the soft lighting. "Your people produce such wonderful art and music. Very peaceful, very beautiful." Do-Hyun smiled warmly. "Thank you. We're always happy to share human culture with our galactic neighbors." He signed his name on the digital contract with a flourish. His identification badge, like all human badges, simply read species. Human origin, Sol 3. The official Galactic Council databases listed Earth as a Class M garden world with agreeable climate and friendly inhabitants. Most alien species thought of humans as the galaxy's newest members, a young race that had recently discovered faster-than-light travel. They were seen as harmless, artistic, and slightly naive about the dangers of space. Nobody in that conference room knew that Sol 3 had another name in the ancient records. Back on Kepler, 442b, Dr. Yuna was packing up her equipment for the day. The site would be fully documented within another week, and then her team would move on to the next dead world on their survey list. She looked around at the empty ruins, wondering what had happened to the species that once lived here. "Hey, Yuna," called Dr. Miho from the communications tent. "I just got a message from the council. They want us to check our Terra findings against the archaeological database. Apparently, other teams have been finding similar stories." "How many other teams?" Yuna asked, walking over to look at his screen. 12 so far, from sites across 4 different sectors. All extinct civilizations, all with the same basic Terra mythology. Miho scrolled through the reports. "The council thinks there might be some kind of shared cultural origin story they want us to research." Yuna frowned as she read the reports. 12 different sites, all from different time periods, all mentioning the same legendary death world. That was unusual. Most mythologies were unique to individual species. Put together a preliminary report, she told Miho. We'll transmit it to the council when we get back to the ship tonight. As the twin suns sat behind the ancient ruins, none of them realized they were about to uncover the most terrifying truth in galactic history. They had no idea that the mythical world of Terra was not only real, but that its children walked among them every day, serving coffee in space stations and signing peace treaties with a smile. The galaxy's most dangerous secret was hiding in plain sight. Dr. Yuna could not sleep. She lay in her narrow bunk aboard the research ship, staring at the ceiling while her mind raced with questions. For 3 weeks now, reports have been flooding in from archaeological teams across the galaxy. Every single one mentioned Terra. She gave up on sleep and made her way to the ship's main computer lab. The corridors were dark and quiet, lit only by the soft blue glow of emergency lighting. Most of her crew was asleep, but Yuna's mind would not rest until she figured out this mystery. The lab's main screen came to life as she entered her access codes. She pulled up all the Terra reports that had come in from other dig sites. 43 different locations now, scattered across 12 sectors of space. All dead worlds, all with the same terrifying stories about a place called Terra. Dr. Miho found her there 2 hours later, hunched over the computer with empty coffee cups scattered around her workstation. You look terrible, he said, setting a fresh cup of coffee beside her. When did you last sleep? Look at this pattern, Yuna said, ignoring his question. She waved her hand, and the main screen filled with a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. Dozens of red dots marked the locations where Terra stories have been found. Miho leaned closer, studying the display. They are all in the same general area of space. Not just the same area, Yuna said excitedly. Look at the dates when these civilizations went extinct. She touched the screen, and numbers appeared next to each red. These species all died out at different times, but they all lived within communication range of each other. So they shared stories, Miho said with a shrug. Ancient civilizations traded myths and legends all the time. But that is not how mythology works, Yuna replied. She pulled up comparative files on her screen. When cultures share stories, they change them. Details get mixed up, names get altered, plots get twisted. But these Terra stories are identical. Every single civilization describes the same world in exactly the same way. Dr. Jinwoo entered the lab carrying a breakfast tray. Are you two still working on this Terra thing? It is just an old story. Yuna shook her head. Jinwoo, what if it is not a story? What if Terra was real? Real. Jinwoo almost dropped his tray. Come on, Yuna. A world where the gravity crushes bones and the air burns your lungs? Where monsters hunt in packs and the ground itself tries to kill you? That is impossible. Is it? Yuna turned back to her computer and started accessing the Galactic Council's current star charts. Look, all these extinct civilizations lived in this region of space. She highlighted a cluster of star systems on the map. What is the closest inhabited system to all of these locations? Miho and Jinwoo watched as the computer calculated distances and drew connecting lines across the star map. All the lines pointed to the same place. Sol System, the computer announced in its calm, artificial voice. Sol System, Yuna repeated quietly. Third planet. Yellow star. Current inhabitants. Humans. The three scientists stared at the screen in silence. The computer continued to display its analysis, showing trajectory paths and communication ranges, all centering on the same small solar system that most of the galaxy considered to be populated by friendly, harmless humans. That is impossible, Jinwoo said again, but his voice was less certain now. Yuna accessed the official Galactic Council database and pulled up Earth's file. Sol 3, also known by inhabitants as Earth, Class M Garden World, Gravity 1.0 standard, atmosphere composed of nitrogen and oxygen, native species, humans, classification, peaceful artistic, low threat level. C. Jinwoo pointed at the screen. Garden World, peaceful inhabitants. Nothing like the terror from those old stories. But Yuna was already digging deeper into the database. When did humans join the Galactic Council? About 50 years ago, Miho answered, right after they invented faster-than-light travel. And before that, what do we know about Earth before first contact? The computer searched its files. Limited information available. Planet was quarantined by unknown authority for approximately 3 million years. Quarantine lifted upon human achievement of FDL capability. Yuna felt her blood turn cold. Quarantined? For 3 million years? Why? Reason for quarantine not specified in available records, the computer replied. Pull up the restricted archives. Yuna ordered, use my xenoarchaeology access codes. Access denied. Level 9 clearance required for pre-contact quarantine records. The three scientists looked at each other with growing alarm. Level 9 clearance was reserved for only the highest-ranking council members. What could be so secret about Earth's past that it required maximum security clearance? Yuna's hands were shaking as she reached for her communication device. I need to contact High Counselor Jehun immediately. It is the middle of the night, Miho protested. This cannot wait, Yuna said, her voice barely above a whisper. I think we just discovered that the most feared world in galactic history is inhabited by 3 billion humans who think they live on a peaceful garden planet. Outside the ship's windows, stars twinkled peacefully in the void of space. Somewhere among those stars, humans were going about their daily lives, completely unaware that they might be the children of legend, the descendants of the only species ever survived the world that ancient civilizations called Terra the Destroyer. The galaxy was about to learn a terrifying truth. High Counselor Jehun stood before the massive circular chamber of the Galactic Council, his 6 arms trembling slightly as he activated the emergency session protocols. Representatives from over 300 species filled the tiered seating, their various forms creating a symphony of confused chittering, clicking, and electronic translations. Council members, Jehun began, his voice amplified across the vast hall. We have called this emergency session because Dr. Yuna's archaeological team has made a discovery that threatens everything we thought we knew about galactic history. Dr. Yuna walked to the center of the chamber, her small human-like form dwarfed by the massive holographic display that materialized around her. She took a deep breath and activated her presentation. 3 days ago, I requested Level 9 access to Precursor Archives, she announced. What I found there will change how we view our current galactic civilization. The holographic display showed ancient star maps, covered in warning symbols and quarantine markers. A single solar system glowed red in the center, surrounded by a vast empty zone. The Sol system was not just quarantined for 3 million years, Yuna continued. It was quarantined because of Terra. The planet we now call Earth is the same world that appears in the mythology of 47 extinct civilizations. Gasps and alarm sounds echoed through the chamber. Several smaller species huddled closer together in their seats. Dr. Sun-hee, the council's senior xenobiologist, stepped forward to join the presentation. Her blue crystalline form sparkled under the chamber's lights as she accessed the restricted biological records. The precursor logs contained detailed reports from the First Contact Wars, Sunny said, her voice creating harmonic tones through her crystal body. Between 3.2 million and 50,000 years ago, 47 different species attempted to explore, study, or colonize the world they called Terra. The holographic display shifted to show ancient recordings. Primitive spacecraft approaching a blue-green planet, landing on its surface, and then silence. Every single expedition failed. Sunny continued, but not because of warfare. The planet itself was killing the visitors. Dr. Taeyun, the xenohistory specialist, materialized as energy form beside the others. The logs describe conditions that we still consider impossible for complex life. Gravity levels that crush standard bone structures. Atmospheric pressure that causes organ failure in most species. Oxygen levels that are toxic to 70% of known life forms. The chamber erupted in nervous chatter. Representative Callus of the Andromedan Federation raised her tentacle to speak. But humans evolved there. How is this possible? That is exactly the problem, Taeyun replied, his energy form pulsing with concern. The ancient logs described Terra's native life forms as walking nightmares, creatures with jaws strength sufficient to crush starship hulls, pack hunters with advanced coordination abilities, flying predators with vision systems that can track faster-than-light movement. Counselor Jehun accessed his personal files and projected them for all to see. The most disturbing entry comes from the Zephyrian Exploration Fleet, dated 2.8 million years ago. Their final transmission reads, "The apex predators of Terra hunt in coordinated groups. They use tools. They problem-solve. They adapt to our technology faster than we can deploy it. This world breeds intelligence through violence. We are evacuating immediately." But that was before humans evolved, protested Representative Vex of the Crystalline Collective. These logs describe prehistoric Terra. Dr. Sunhee nodded gravely. Exactly. Humans evolved on a world that already killed 47 spacefaring civilizations. They did not just survive Terra's conditions, they thrived in them. They became the ultimate expression of everything that made Terra deadly. The holographic display showed Earth's current ecosystem: lions hunting zebra, sharks circling in dark waters, hurricanes tearing across continents, volcanoes erupting with devastating force. Humans call these conditions normal, Sunny continued. What they consider a peaceful day on Earth will be classified as a Class 5 extinction event on most worlds in the galaxy. Representative Callus's tentacles were now wrapped tightly around her chair. Are you saying that every human is essentially a survivor of the most dangerous world in galactic history? We are saying more than that, Dr. Taeyun replied, his energy form flickering with emphasis. We are saying that humans are the evolutionary product of Terra. Every human alive today carries the genetic adaptations necessary to survive on the legendary Death World. They are living weapons, shaped by 3 billion years of evolutionary pressure from the most hostile environment ever recorded. Counselor Jehun pulled up the current galactic databases. According to our records, there are currently over 3 billion humans living on Earth, with another 50 million scattered across various colonies and space stations throughout the galaxy. The implications hit the chamber like a shock wave. 3 billion beings, each one the genetic descendant of creatures that had survived conditions which killed entire galactic civilizations. And they were all classified as peaceful garden world inhabitants in the official records. The quarantine was lifted 50 years ago when humans achieved faster-than-light travel. Jehun continued. The Council assumed they were a normal developing species. We welcomed them as our newest members. Representative Vex crystalline form was vibrating with terror. We invited the children of Terra to join us. We gave them access to our worlds, our technology, our trade routes. And they have been nothing but friendly and cooperative, Jehun admitted, which makes this discovery even more terrifying. If this is humans being peaceful, the chamber fell into absolute silence as the full weight of the revelation settled over them. Somewhere in the galaxy, humans were going about their daily lives, completely unaware that they were the living embodiment of every species' most ancient nightmare. Ambassador Dohain stepped into the council chambers and immediately knew something was wrong. The usual friendly chatter that greeted him had been replaced by complete silence. Hundreds of alien eyes tracked his movement as he walked to his designated seat, but nobody made their typical welcoming sounds. He smiled and waved at Representative Callus, who normally exchanged pleasant greetings with him before each session. Instead, her tentacles curled tightly around her chair, and she looked away quickly. The crystalline delegates from the collective, who usually sparkled cheerfully when they saw him, had dimmed their lights to almost nothing. "Good morning, everyone," Dohain said in his usual friendly tone. "I hope you are all having a wonderful day." Several smaller species actually moved further away from him. The Andromedan Federation's representative made what sounded like a prayer in her native language. Dr. Su Min, the Council's chief medical officer, was standing at the central podium with a nervous expression on her scale face. Her research data was already displayed on the massive holographic screen above the chamber. Ambassador Dohain, Counselor Jehun said carefully, "We need to ask you some questions about human physiology and Earth environment. Dr. Su Min has been conducting comparative studies." Dohain nodded eagerly. "Of course. I am always happy to help with scientific research." Dr. Sumin activated her presentation, and a three-dimensional image of a human body appeared next to various alien anatomical displays. Ambassador, our analysis shows that human bone density is approximately 3 times the galactic standard. Can you explain why humans evolved such dense skeletal structures? Dense. Dohayan looked puzzled. I guess we need strong bones because of Earth's gravity, but it is not unusual for us. A ripple of alarm sound swept through the chamber. Dr. Sumin continued, Your planet's gravity is 2.3 times standard galactic measurement. Most council species would be crushed flat within minutes of landing on Earth's surface. Really, Dohayan seemed genuinely surprised. I had no idea other worlds had such light gravity. That must feel very strange, like floating all the time. Dr. Sumin's hands were shaking as she pulled up the next set of data. Human atmospheric requirements show that you breathe a gas mixture that will be toxic to 85% of known species. The oxygen concentration alone would cause severe poisoning in most council members. But oxygen is wonderful, Dohayan said with a bright smile. It makes us feel energetic and alert. Do other species not enjoy breathing? They die from it, Dr. Sumin said quietly. The chamber was so silent that Dohayan could hear the soft humming of the air recyclers. He looked around at all the alien faces staring at him with expressions he could not identify. Dr. Sumin, Counselor Jahun said, Please continue with your medical findings. Human immune systems, Dr. Sumin announced, can neutralize toxins that we classify as military-grade biological weapons. Your species produces antibodies for diseases that do not even exist on most worlds. And your pain tolerance. She paused, checking her notes. Human pain tolerance levels are 15 times higher than the galactic average. Pain tolerance? Dohayan thought about this. Well, we do learn to deal with bumps and cuts from childhood. Earth can be a bit rough sometimes. We have thorny plants, stinging insects, rough weather. You just get used to it. Representative Vex's crystalline form was vibrating with terror. Rough weather? What do you mean by rough weather? Oh, Dohayan said casually, thunderstorms, hurricanes, tornadoes, blizzards, heat waves, floods. Sometimes earthquakes or volcanic eruptions. Normal Earth weather. Every single being in the chamber recoiled. Several of the smaller species were making distress calls. Dr. Sumin pulled up videos from Earth's nature documentaries. Ambassador, can you explain these creatures that share your world? The holographic display showed a great white shark breaching the water, its massive jaws filled with razor-sharp teeth. Then a grizzly bear standing on its hind legs, towering over the camera. Next came a pride of lions hunting a zebra, their coordinated attack swift and deadly. Oh, those are just animals, Dohayan said with a laugh. Sharks are actually quite gentle, unless you bother them. Bears mostly just want to find food. Lions are beautiful creatures, very family-oriented. We have nature preserves to protect them all. Protect them? Counselor Jihun's voice was barely a whisper. You protect these predators? Of course. They are part of Earth's ecosystem. Many of them are in danger because of human activity, so we work hard to keep their populations healthy. Dr. Sumin showed the final piece of data, human psychological profiles. Ambassador, our analysis indicates that humans can function normally under stress conditions that would cause complete mental breakdown in most galactic species. You appear to actually seek out dangerous activities for entertainment. Like what? Dohayan asked. Rock climbing, skydiving, deep-sea diving, extreme sports, horror movies, roller coasters. Dr. Sumin read from her list. Those are fun, Dohayan said with enthusiasm. Everyone should try rock climbing at least once. The view from the top is amazing, and the adrenaline rush makes you feel so alive. The chamber erupted in panic sounds. Species that had never agreed on anything were suddenly chittering and clicking in universal terror. Ambassador Dohayan, Counselor Jahun said very carefully, Do you consider Earth to be a dangerous world? Dohayan looked genuinely confused by the question. Dangerous? No, not really. I mean, you have to be careful around wild animals and pay attention to weather warnings, but Earth is beautiful. It is home. Sure, We have some challenges, but nothing that humans cannot handle with a little common sense and preparation. Nothing that humans cannot handle. The phrase echoed through the chamber like a death sentence. The galaxy had just learned that its newest, friendliest members considered the legendary world of death to be a comfortable home. 3 months after the revelation, Ambassador Dohayan found himself in the strangest situation of his diplomatic career. He walked through the corridors of Galactic Station Alpha, and everywhere he went, aliens stepped aside and bowed deeply. Some even dropped to the ground in what appeared to be worship poses. "This is getting ridiculous," he muttered to Dr. Jisu, who had been assigned as his new liaison officer. "Yesterday, a Zephyrian delegate offered me his entire family's wealth just for shaking his hand." Dr. Jisu checked her datapad as they walked. Actually, that was a formal request for protection. The Zephyrian Empire has been having problems with space pirates in their outer territories. They want to hire human security forces. Security forces? We are diplomats, not soldiers. Tell that to the 17 species who have submitted formal requests for human military assistance. Jisu replied. The Crystalline Collective offered to surrender 3 entire star systems if humans would agree to patrol their borders. Dohayan stopped walking. Surrender? Why would they surrender to us? They are not surrendering to us, Jisu explained patiently. They are offering tribute in exchange for protection. Ever since the Council revealed that humans come from Terra, half the galaxy thinks we're going to conquer them all. They entered the main conference hall, where Dohayan was scheduled to meet with delegates from the Andromedan Federation. As soon as he walked through the door, all 12 Andromedan representatives immediately prostrated themselves on the floor, their tentacles spread wide in submission. "Please rise," Dohayan said uncomfortably. "We are here to discuss trade agreements, not whatever this is." Representative Callis slowly lifted her head. Her large eyes filled with what could only be described as terror. "Great child of Terra, we humbly request your mercy. Our worlds are weak and defenseless. We offer you all our mining rights in exchange for your promise not to destroy us." "Destroy you?" Dohayan looked shocked. "Why would we destroy you? We like you. Your people make beautiful art and wonderful music." The Andromedans began trembling. "You like us?" "Of course. The Federation has always been one of humanity's favorite trading partners. We especially enjoy your poetry festivals." One of the smaller Andromedans fainted. The others began making high-pitched sounds that Dohayan's translator identified as prayers of gratitude. Meanwhile, halfway across the galaxy on Earth, Dr. Kyungmin was reading the morning news feeds while eating breakfast at the Seoul Research Institute. Her colleague Dr. Woo Jin sat across from her, reviewing their latest botanical research. "Listen to this headline," Kyungmin said, nearly choking on her coffee. "Children of the Death World offer peace treaties to terrified galaxy. They are calling us the most dangerous species in known space." Woo Jin looked up from his plant samples. "Dangerous? Us." He gestured toward the window, where a family of rabbits was peacefully grazing on the Institute's lawn. "We spend our days studying flower genetics. How is that dangerous?" According to this article, Kyungmin continued reading. "Our bone density and muscle strength make us living weapons. Apparently, the average human could tear apart most alien species with our bare hands." "That is silly," Woo Jin said, returning to his microscope. "I can barely open pickle jars without help." On his computer screen, a news alert popped up. Breaking. Entire vegan star cluster evacuates after learning humans vacation on volcanic planets. Back on Galactic Station Alpha, Dr. Jisu was updating Dohayan on the latest developments. "The situation is getting more complex by the day. We now have requests from 43 different species asking for human assistance with colonization projects." Colonization? Worlds that were previously considered uninhabitable. Jisu explained. Planets with high gravity, toxic atmospheres, extreme weather, dangerous wildlife. Conditions that would kill most galactic species, but that humans might find merely challenging. She pulled up a list on her datapad. "The Rigelian Republic wants us to help them establish mining colonies on worlds with gravity 3 times Earth normal. The Tau-Cetian Alliance has offered exclusive trading rights if we will survey planets in the Death Nebula region. And the Altarian Confederacy, She paused. They want to hire human families as permanent residents on their frontier worlds, just to scare away potential invaders. Scare away invaders by having families live there? Apparently, the mere presence of humans on a world is now considered the ultimate deterrent to aggression. Who would be crazy enough to attack a planet defended by the children of Terra? Dohayan rubbed his temples, feeling a headache coming on. This is insane. We are peaceful people. We grow gardens and write poetry and make music. Gardens on a death world, Jisoo pointed out. Poetry that emerged from the most hostile environment in galactic history. Music created by beings who evolved to survive conditions that kill entire civilizations. Through the station's windows, Dohayan could see Earth in the distance, a beautiful blue marble hanging in the void of space. To him, it looked like the most peaceful, welcoming world imaginable. Green forests, blue oceans, white clouds drifting lazily across the continents. Sir, Jisoo said quietly, there's one more thing. The Council has received intelligence that 3 species have gone into hiding rather than risk any contact with humans. They have moved their entire civilizations to the far edge of the galaxy, hiding from us. They call it the Great Evacuation. They would rather abandon their homeworlds than risk meeting the legendary children of Terra face to face. Dohayan sighed deeply as he watched his beautiful, peaceful home planet turning slowly in space. Somewhere down there, humans would go about their normal lives, walking their dogs, tending their gardens, completely unaware that their very existence had rewritten the balance of power across the galaxy. After all, what could be more terrifying than a species that considered paradise to be the most feared world in the universe?